For the following exercises, find the divergence of f at the given point. So let's take a look at 246 here. And remember, what is the divergence formula? So the div of f equals px plus qy plus rz. So if I'm looking at 246 here, this is my p, this is my q, and this is my r. So then my px is going to be yz plus, and then my qy there is going to be 1 plus, my rz is going to be 1. So then this is going to be yz plus 2. And then from there, we're just going to plug that in. I'm going to rewrite this. So then this is going to equal 2 for y and 3 for z. So it's going to be 2 times 3 plus 2. So that's going to be a total of 8. So there's my answer for the div of f of 1, 2, 3. So now let's talk about the curl. It says for the following exercises, find the curl of f at the given point. So the first thing we're going to need is all of our partials. And my p is here, my q is here, and my r is here. And I need ry first. So that's going to be z e to the yz. And then my qz, that's here. That's going to be xe to the xz. And again, that comes from a chain rule. So first I'm going to do e to the xz is just e to the xz, the derivative with respect to z, and then times the derivative of the polynomial, which is xz, so that's just going to be an x. And that's where that comes from. Okay, so then my pz, that's going to be 0. And then my rx, that's going to be 0. And then my qx, that's going to be z e to the xz. And then my py, which is here, that's going to be negative x to the e negative xy. So now then the curl of f is going to equal, remember, just the subtraction of each component in that order. So it's going to be z e to the yz minus x e to the xz. There's my first one. And then my pz and rx are both 0, so it's 0 minus 0, so I get 0 there. And then I have z e to the xz minus, or plus I should say, because that's a negative there, x e to the negative xy. And there it is. Now what we're really looking for here is, remember, at 3, 2, 0. So I have my x, my y, and my z there, and I'm just going to plug those in here. So for my first one, then my z is 0, so that's all going to be 0. And I'll just write it in there so you can see it all together. Minus 3e to the x is 3, and z is 0, comma, and that's 0. And then comma, my z is 0, e to the 3 times 0, plus my x, which is 3, e to the negative 3 times 2. And then once I simplify all of those, this is going to be, actually this first piece is 0. This e to the 3 times 0 is e to the 0, which is 1. So I get for that first piece negative 3. And then I get my 0 here in the middle. And then for the last piece here, that's 0, because 0 times anything is 0. And then for the last one here, this is going to be 3e, and that's going to be negative 6 to the negative 6. So there is my vector at the point 3, 2, 0. I would call this the curl at 3, 2, 0. So there's my answer.